Yeah, it's like something at the bottom, like a check or something. I'm not a check, but there's something on it. Okay. I'm not a check, but there's something on it.
True peace, everybody. Just waiting for Tarnoon to come in before we get this thing started. It's my first time doing this Google Hangout thing.
Oh yeah, I don't know what it was going. What is he doing? It's not a loud word. Alright, let's see.
Oh man, you got the ball on. You should. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it good enough?
Yeah, it's good enough.
Oh, okay. Huh?
I'm subscribed to Noot. I don't see nothing.
It's on the noon question and answer.
Oh.
Well, you could go, I guess, share it to all the Facebook posts and stuff like that, so people would come in.
Hold on. Let me go to the noon.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, not there. Okay. You can go ahead. I'm putting it all over the place. You can go ahead and kick it off.
All right, all right. I hear a little echo on your end. But true peace, everybody. Welcome to the noon questions and answer page that we have set up, where we'll be giving some scientific discoveries on, you know, our channel that's been discovered already by A-Noot through the science known as Noon. And by the way, this is not real. This is not milk. I made this from walnuts. I made this from walnuts and Brazil nut, and I made my own milk. So time to get healthy. Stop, you know, drinking the dairy milk out there. But yeah, I made my own milk. But anywho's, today's discussion that me and Tarnoon will be discussing is the out of America theory. A lot of people who are into you know, information and science and things like that, they come up with theories like, you know, we come from America, but there's no scientific backing to validate their statements and their claims. So what we're going to do today is we're going to destroy the whole out of America theory, and we would ask the people who are advocating the out of America theory to bring some substantial evidence to back their claims that they're making, that, you know, African people originated in America. That's not to say if you're born here that you're, you know, you're not of this land. Of course, if you're born here, then, you know, you were born on this land, but where you originated from is a totally different story. And we all originated, Black people with kinky hair, those that grow genuinely kinky hair on their heads, we come from Africa. Those that grow straight hair or curly hair, they come from another part of the globe, but we'll discuss that at another date. Right now, we're just discussing the fact that people with kinky hair, like myself and Tarnoon and a couple of other Noonieboos, we actually come from out of Africa, and we're gonna prove that scientifically today. My name is A-Noot Boonoo Noopooh, and I'm one of the representatives for Noon Science. I do a lot of research, and I do a lot of what do you call it? I do a lot of creations and things like that for Noon. This symbol that you're seeing right now was something that that came about in my mind. You know, you got the flat one that a lot of people wear. You know, like this one is the flat one, the flat Noop symbol, as you can see here. And I basically revolved it to a circle now. As you can see, it's the ball. And I'm going to do a Facebook post on this particular ball being the perfection of nature, also with the kinky and the coil at the bottom. You know, basically it's just a Noop symbol, but it's in the ball form. Okay, so I'm finished introducing myself. I'm gonna allow my co-host Tarnoon to introduce himself as well, and we'll get the show started. You there, Ken? You there, Tarnoon?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, True Mr. Carvin P. This is Tar Kenu Noopooh, and I represent the bladder, which is the part of the body that cleans out the waste. And as you can see, that is what I'm basically been doing as far as the Nawapian situation is, getting that mess out of here. I know a lot of people, not too many, but a lot would like us to, you know, teach on Noon more, and we do. We just have different offices, and sometimes we switch lanes. So I deal with the Noon in so much as Noon basically is all correct information. So whenever you see me doing what I'm doing, bringing forth comparisons or exposing certain things that Dr. York has taught, that is Noon. because it's correct information. And then we do what we do here. We just took a little break to do research, creations, getting business and things together, stuff like that, which A-Noot has right there. So it's not like we just sitting here doing nothing. We're doing different things. We're just not being boisterous and running around saying, hey, look at us, we got this. And that's not it. So so yeah, we're gonna get into this out of America theory versus out of Africa. And again, when you deal with Noon deals with origins. And so since everybody is talking about this out of America thing, again, like some people are saying, a lot of this stuff is coming, you know, from the Moore Science Temple as well, because Noopooh Ali even said that we came from Mississippi. He got a show. So you got a little bit of that, a little bit of other Moorish offspring groups and other, you know, black people who've been mixed in with some of the Native Americans, for lack of a better term, with straight hair mixed in. And, you know, we were here before then, and you got different sides coming from different places. But tonight would be basically dealing with origins. And a lot of them don't deal with origins. They only can go back so far. So when you talking about we came from somewhere, then you have to actually produce the source with the evidence to say, okay, we came from here. And a lot of them, only thing they're doing is giving you books and rocks and certain things like that, but they're not telling you the beginning, the starting point. That's very important. So after a certain amount of time, the books run out. So what do you do then? Because history is longer than the paper. You know, so what do they, you know, that's the thing. They're not going to be able to produce documentation. So you have to be able to do something else when you run out of paper or some form of way to determine through books, you know, how far we have come or how far, you know, we've been from whatever part of the globe people want to believe. So the two hotbed things right now outside of religion is the flat earth theory and this one. So A-Noot is going to deal with the out of America theory versus out of Africa. And if y'all been listening to other people, they pretty much gave y'all, you know, who supposedly brought the information that we came from here and we came from there. And all this is just deceptive spirit forces after teaching, you know, we come from one place, the negative side of nature then reverses it because our people are now waking up with less than a year left as a group awakening. A lot of things that were given to us one way will now be reversed and then told us, no, it's from this way. And the same people that our so-called awaken or teachers in our age bracket have taught the Caucasian can't be trusted. But when you dig into the things that they're saying, okay, now you believe you from Africa, the white man said it. Now they're saying you from America because the white man said it. So it still leaves you in the same ignorant middle ground. And now you have to sit here and still guess. So true science doesn't depend on just what some other people said. I know a lot of our race is not privy to a lot of the high science facilities and things of that nature to be digging in the ground, but we do have something that can be manufactured, and that's Sound Right Reason, what we call 9 Mile of Noopooh and the Science Noon, which we have the great scientist Afro Unu, rest in power, did all of the great hard work for us and laid it down in the nature books. He just didn't reveal the sources per se because he knew all of the false teachers that he was around, and he knew what time it was too. So all of us will be able to actually find the information and lay it down and produce the evidence, and we will provide the sources. So don't think that that's not the case, because you're right. we're in that time now where you should be able to produce findings to back up what you're saying, because that was the age of religion. So anybody who's speaking and giving you information and they still not giving you the origin of it without a shadow of a doubt, it's religious, because that's what happens. And but go ahead and do it. I'm gonna let you take it away.
All right. Yeah, so Noon gave a great introduction as to, and I'm gonna take it a little slow, but only because I didn't set everything up exactly, you know, how I wanted to, but we're gonna get to the gist and the point of everything that is going to be broadcasted. So let's go to the first order of business. Is I'm going to tell you where we come from exactly. Well, according to, actually, we're going to read from the nature books. I think that's a good place to start as far as telling us where we come from. Give me 1 second. I got to pull this up real quick. I got to go to my books. But as y'all come in, just, you know, send a little hi so that we know that you're there and we know that you are, you know, that you're with us. So give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up. I am pulling it up. Sorry, people. I didn't get a chance to really organize it fully. But anything else you want to add real quick while I just pull this up real quick, Ken?
Yeah, yeah, like you saying, we dealing with the origins, and I just wanted that to be known, because the nature books has been around. A lot of people got them books on the strength that they thought it was, you know, York might have wrote or whatever. But again, the books were written in a way that those who Sama Reason is working through on that capacity will be able to reveal the sources of where Afro-Uno and Sipu and Gipu actually, you know, came upon that information and put it together. Like I said, it is only put in this particular way because if you look at these different type of deceptive teachers, they took information that people did before them or even in their lifetime that was found to be right and exact, and they utilized that to fool the people. So when a person was, you know, felt a type of way about a particular teacher who may have been shady, case the point like York, if he had his hands on correct information and somebody looked it up, they can find that it was true or somebody else. So that in itself was using correct information to protect certain individuals for a long amount of time. So now that the true science is here, and it's not easy for people to come in. A lot of people don't even understand it in the way Afro-Uno terms certain things like brain noops. And we came in a little later on and actually did the work for it and put it in there. Then we showed you where and what brain noops will be called in modern times as well as ancient. That's the key. That's the true double-edged sword. You have to be able to show that the information was known in the past, and that is the facts, because the energies, just like spirits and God, those spirit gods and goddesses haven't went anywhere, neither have those energies. They change form, but they're still present and they're known and been recorded in various ways. And once we get to that point, we'll be able to explain to y'all exactly the ultimate source of things, and you be like, oh, we knew this all along, but we didn't know it came from there. And that's the way Zupu works in the bottom half with deception, that it covers things up, whatever the cycle you in. And if it's the cycle like the one we just came through the last 6,000 years, a lot of us became ignorant because of the type of gases that existed inside and outside of our body and the things that they set up, religions and different variations of it and things like that that kept us just mentally dead for a long time. So that's the core thing that we just want to put out there in the beginning, that we are actually putting out information at a certain point because we are very aware of all the fakers that's out there. And if you've been watching, you see them. So a lot of them is hiding in what's called a conscious community, and they are conscious enough to see certain information and then remix it and then turn it and pervert it. And this is what you're seeing now. So right now, we're very careful of how we put out information because we don't want to empower the disagreeable, negative, dirty spirits in human beings that will pounce on it with a quickness. You know, people like Polite, who took a lot of information and mastered it and then utilized it and did what he did with it. Same thing with Umar Johnson. It ain't just with Noon, just with correct information in general. And this is what they do with it. They pimp each other and their own followers because there's no real care and concern. You ready, Ken?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
All right. So I apologize about that, people, but just a little small commercial real quick. It's not a real commercial, but in the next coming weeks, we're going to have these socks coming. I just wanted to show you guys real quick. So you see you got the Africa map on it. This is the men's pair. Right now I'm waiting for the women's pair to come in. When the women's pair come in, I'll be able to show you guys, you know, everything that's taking place. So right here, we got the low cut ones. I got low cut in men's and women's. And I got these in the men's, but the women one's gonna come all the way up to the thigh. Actually, I'm gonna open this one up too. They come with a nice label, say Pitch Nova on it. The slogan right there is Resurrect Your Soul. It has the Instagram on there, Pitch Nova Clothing. And it got where you can order it from, which is noopooh.com. You can also order, well, no, that's the only site you can order it from actually right now. Later on, it'll be on more websites and things of that nature. You see right there, it has the Pan-African red, black, and green flag. It has our symbol, the 999s. This is also one of our symbols, the Noop symbol. And this is the Nahoos. And you can see Resurrect Your Soul. All right, I'm going to open it up so you guys can see what it looks like real quick. It comes with a nice packaging. And on the outside of the sock, you got the red Africa flag. I mean, red Africa continent. And on the inside, you got the green one, as you can see. So these are coming. These are really nice. They're very comfortable. They're made with 100% comb cotton. Real nice and soft. You also got the low cut ones. I'm gonna open these too. Comes with the same label as well, but it comes in women's and men's. See the shortcut ones. One side come with the red Africa continent logo on it, and the other pair comes with the green continent logo on it. All right, so make sure if you want to order a pair, you can go to noopooh.com and you can order a pair. If you're looking to get it sold in your stores, if you're a business owner and you're looking to get it sold in your stores, you can also contact me at pitchnovaclothing@gmail.com so we can work out some deal and getting it in your stores and things of that nature. Of course, I'll sell them wholesale as well so that, you know, others can benefit off the economic success of these socks. So that's just a little small commercial. Eventually we'll get an official commercial. One of the people that's helping me with distributing the socks and getting it marketed is actually in the comments. Her name is To The Core Foundation. She's doing the photo shoot November 2nd. So November 2nd we'll be doing the photo shoot for it. Kwipu was the one who helped to design these socks. She did all the computer imaging of these socks. All right, so all of the graphics for these socks were done by Noopooh. So big shout out to Noopooh. A lot of this couldn't have got done if it wasn't for Noopooh, because her and her artistic skills helped to make this happen. Her artistic skills also painted this ball that you see here. This Noop ball that you see was also done by Noopooh. So her job on the computer and also with the artwork is really amazing. So, you know, if you guys want to get anything, you know, artsy done, you can hit up Noopooh. She's definitely good with the art aspect. I'm good with the creation aspect. So in the coming times, you're going to see a lot of creations from out of me, because I represent the bone marrow, and the bone marrow basically jump starts things in the body. It's the first thing that's seen before anything in the human body. So before, you know, when a baby is being gestated, the first thing it starts producing is bone marrow. And from bone marrow, it starts producing other things. So you could kind of see why I'm a creator and I get things jump started, or, you know, I'm always or seemingly the first to do, you know, certain things, but it's just within my nature, in nature. You understand? The same way Tarnoon lets you guys know that he represents the bladder and he deals with getting rid of waste out of the body. One thing that I thought about today that I think that we should stop saying is like the word pedophile. I realized that the word pedophile means child love. I want to say that's not child love though. That's actually child abuse. When a adult is, you know, making sexual advances to a child, that's not child love, because when you go into the etymology of the word pedophile, pedo means child, and phile or philos is the Greek word for love. And this is a play on words. It's not child love, because child love would be what a mother or father gives to their child. That would be the natural form of love. But you can see the mindset of the people who corrupted the languages. You understand what I'm saying? They want you to say pedophile as if pedophile is child love. That's not love. That's child abuse. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to kind of like not say pedophile anymore. We got to say that's child abuse, because you're abusing a child sexually. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a big play on words that we have to be very mindful of. So the word pedophile actually means child love, but that's not loving a child. That's actually child abuse. All right. So that's what I wanted to touch on real quick before we move forward with anything. All right. So let's go to the nature books. All right. So we're gonna screen share the nature books real quick. Let's share the screen. All right. So you see this screen, Ken? The nature books?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So number 60, listen to reason, shape 25. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, this is Introduction to the Nature book 2. All right. If you guys want to read these books, Noopooh.com, or you can go to Noopooh's website, which is fine9news.com, FINENENEWS.com. So that's fine9news.com to read these books. The whole collection is on both of our websites. You can go and read it there for free. You know, don't let nobody charge you to read these books unless you get a physical copy of the books. If someone has the physical copies of the books, then granted, yes, they have to pay for the pages and things like that to get done. But it's on our website where you can read the entire book, not the sections of the book, but the entire books for free. All right. So let's get this ball rolling. So we got Introduction to Nature book 2, page 51, number 60. Listen to reason. shape 25 in this topic is a half section of the planet, top view, typical of that of the planet goddess Mother Earth. The main purpose for showing this view and graphic picture is to disclose the method and process of the origin of the flesh and blood gods and goddesses of planet Earth and the Ethiopian race, which is us, on one hand, and the origin of the mankind on the other hand. The depiction illustration defines the ovary womb that produces the gods and goddesses, showing how the womb is embedded in nine ether clay. It shows the ovary womb that produces original mankind and the water inlet and birth channel, which are connected to the uterus, the womb, embedded in 6 ether clay. In the topic in this book called The Peoples of Nature by Reason, this writer will define and describe the differences between the origins concerning 6 ether and 9 ether clays and the opposites concerning peoples and the gods and goddesses. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Before we move on, right, I want to say that religion is not so far-fetched from what we know, because we know in the Bible it says that man comes from what? From clay, right? Or from the dirt, or from the ground, or some and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go to the nature books, it tells you that man does come from clay. But what kind of clay? There's different types of clay that is embedded in the ground. There's 9 ether clay, and then there's 6 ether clay. All right. So it's not so far-fetched. It's just that religion twisted science in such a way that it made it almost like a fairy tale. And it doesn't give you the evidence or facts to back up the fairy tales that they're given. But when you come to the nature of nature, those fairy tales are unraveled into reality and reason, which gives you the true origin of how these things came about. I don't know if you want to expand on that, because I know you were deep into religion, Tarnoon, and you came out and you're in Noon. So you want to expound on the clay aspect, or you want me to move on and from there?
I mean, like you said, mostly most of the religions over here in America say the same thing. The Quran gives you it says black clay. Like you said, the Old Testament pretty much says from the ground. The ancient Egyptians said Khnum created man from a potter's wheel, which is a form of clay. You can go in different types of parts of the origin stories, and they all connect. They got that one thing in common, that they do say the ground. Other religions, some say, not on the planet per se, or even in some of the ancient stories say a mound came up out of the water in ancient Egypt. But yeah, they all have that one thing in common, at least the the clay and the or the ground concept. So yeah, you're doing good. You straight.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna share another page real quick. All right. So what is this clay? I just picked basically any Google search, and basically that clay. Can you see this picture?
Yeah.
This picture, that the clay that they're talking about is basically the inner core, the outer core. Sorry, the inner core is not clay. I apologize. Basically, it's the mantle. There's the upper and lower mantle, right? So let's find a good picture of the upper and lower mantle. I didn't prepare too tough for this, but I wanted you guys to basically see where these creations come from. Let's see. Let's see. Half section of planet Earth. Let's go to half section of planet Earth. All right. That's not good. All right, let's go to inner planet. Still ain't nothing. Give me I'm sorry, folks. Let's see. Section of the planet. Let's see that. Let's see what comes up. Okay, the same search. All right. I wanted to get a nice something with all the clays that it shows. Let me see. Maybe this one. Yeah. Get a nice image of this. Oh boy, I'm screwed that one up. All right, let's see. I'm sorry, folks. How y'all doing though? Y'all doing good out there? Hope you guys are doing well. You know what? Let's just go to what? Okay. Oh, they did it for me. Layers of the Earth. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Layers of the Earth. Here we go. Here goes a nice picture. All right. So you got the inner core, the outer core, the mantle, upper mantle, and the crust. All right. So I think Wikipedia gives a good outlining on what. Yeah. So, all right. So the internal structure of the Earth is layered in spherical shells, an outer silicate solid crust, a highly viscous asthenosphere, and mantle, a liquid outer core that is much less viscous than the mantle and the solid inner core. Scientific understanding of the internal structure of the Earth is based on observations of topography, and it looks like bathymetry, observations of rock and outcrop samples brought to the surface of greater depths by volcanoes or volcanic activity, analysis of the seismic waves that pass through the Earth, measurements of the gravitational and magnetic fields of the Earth, and experiments of crystalline solids at pressures and temperatures characteristics of the Earth's deep interior. Now, I'm not going to go into that, but what's very important to understand is this particular part right here. These are rocks. These are melted rocks that are in here. The inner core, these mantles, these two mantles here are actually rocks that are melted in. They're basically clay structures. All right. So let's go now to the nature books again, where he shows you the womb of Mother Earth. All right. So as you can see here, this inner core would be the iron core that he speaks about. And that iron core is basically the brain of the planet. We're going to talk about a whole nother day, because if we go into why it's the brain and, you know, how's it feed us into a 4 or 5 hour thing. So tonight, I just want to keep it to an hour, hour and a half. So this particular part is the inner core. The outer, on the right, directly outside of the inner core is the spontaneous membrane. Now, this is where we get to the mantles. So the inner mantle is the 9 ether clay. And around that mantle is another mantle called 6 ether clay. But in modern science, they call it the upper and lower mantle. So the upper mantle is composed of a set of rocks or clays that are 6 ether clays. And below that is where the 9 ether clay mantle resumes. Now, in between these mantles, you also have the womb, right? And the womb of the 9 ether clay stretches all the way up to Africa. This top part right here is Africa. He basically shows you the top part of the planet and basically cuts it in half. So the birthplace of, sorry, here go right here. The birthplace of the gods and goddesses, right, which is our ancestors, were born in Africa. And that part of Africa that he's talking about is Lake Victoria. Then this particular aspect is where the other race of people come from, or their ancestors rather. This 6 ether clay, or the upper mantle, and that's in Indonesia on this aspect right here. We're going to discuss that a whole nother day. Right now, we're just discussing the origin of Black people. And I'm just giving you just the inner aspect of the planet of where we come from. All right. It's all going to make sense in a minute. All right. So this is the crust of the planet. So if we go back to Wikipedia, right? Basically, they're just giving you a quarter section of the planet. This would be the brain. This would be the outer membrane of the brain. This would be the mantle that he's speaking about, the 9 ether mantle. This would be the 6 ether mantle. And this would be the crust of the planet, this outer part right here. All right. So I hope you guys see that. And we could go back to the nature books, and it shows us that right here. Okay. So where were we born? We were born, or our ancestors rather, were born at Lake Victoria, right? According to the nature books, we were born at Lake Victoria. But how, you know, why were we born there? Or how were we born there? You know, so give me 1 second. Got to pull up Lake Victoria real quick. Give me 1 second, folks. I hope those that are intelligent can see where this is leading to, because this is going to be very, very, very interesting. Because the next step will be to pose the question to those that claim to know, you know, science. They would have to show us, how do we come from America, or our ancestors rather coming from America. All right. Let me, hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, somebody's calling me. Lake Victoria. Let's just go do a little quick search on Lake Victoria. All right, let me screen share this real quick. What in the world?
This built-in navigation system is powered by the hippocampus, the same part of.
I don't know, world. Sorry, folks. Give me 1 second. I gotta screen share this. I ain't get too popular with this stuff yet. I'm not a pro at it yet, but I get there. All right. So Lake Victoria, or Nalubale, which is in New Uganda, and Nyanza in what? Kinyarwanda and some Bantu languages, is one of the African Great Lakes. The lake was named after Queen Victoria by the explorer John Hanning Speke, the first Briton to document it. Speke, or Speck, or whatever his name is, accomplished this in 1858 while on the expedition with Richard Francis Burton to locate the source of the Nile River. with a surface area of approximately 68,800 square miles or 26,600 square miles. Lake Victoria is Africa's largest lake by area, the world's largest tropical lake. That's to keep that in mind, tropical lake, and the world's second largest freshwater lake by surface area after Lake Superior in North America in terms of volume. Lake Victoria is the world's 9th largest continental lake, containing about 2,750 cubic kilometers of water. Lake Victoria receives its water primarily from direct rainfall and thousands of small streams. The Kajera River is the largest river flowing into this lake, with its mouth on the lake's western shore. Lake Victoria is drained solely by the Nile River near Jinja, Uganda, on the lake's northern shore. Lake Victoria occupies a shallow depression in Africa. The lake has a maximum depth of 84 meters, which is 276 feet, and an average depth of 40 meters, 130 feet. Its catchment area covers 184,000 square kilometers, which is 71,000 square miles. The lake has a shoreline of 7,142 kilometers, which is 4,438 miles, which digitized at the one to every 25,000 level, with islands constituting 3.7% of this length, and is divided among 3 countries: Kenya 6% or 4,100 square kilometers or 1,600 square miles; Uganda 45%, which is 31,000 square kilometers or 12,000 square miles; and Tanzania, which is 49% or 39,700 square miles or 13,000 square miles. All right. So this is just giving us the surface area and things like that. You could read more about it if you want on Wikipedia. So let's go real quick to what type of lake, because when you're doing research and somebody tells you something, you have to go into depth about that whole entire thing as to why, would this be the birthplace of African peoples. Let's see what type of lake Lake Victoria is. So we're going to open up another window. We're going to go to Google. Type in types of lakes. All right. We're going to click on that and we see, all right, how many types of lakes are there? All right. On the basis of origin, there we go. That's a beautiful word that we love. Origin. On the basis of origin, 11 major lake types have been recognized that are further divided into 76 subtypes. All right. So you got organic lakes, which are formed by the actions of flora or fauna. These lakes are relatively small in size and are quite rare in occurrence. An example of an organic lake is a reservoir created by the damming of a river by the action of beavers. Coral lakes or dams created by vegetative growth also lead to the formation of organic lakes. All right. Then you got volcanic lakes. Lakes with a volcanic origin are known as volcanic lakes. These lakes are usually formed by volcanic calderas or craters, or when lahars or lava flows interrupt the flow of the river or stream. Volcanic lakes are formed in volcanic craters or calderas when the rate of precipitation is higher than the rate of the loss of water via evaporation or drainage through an outlet. An example of a lake formed in a caldera is the Crater Lake, which is present within Mount Mazama caldera in Oregon, USA. The Malheur or Huer Lake is Oregon. Sorry, the Malheur Lake in Oregon is an example of a volcanic lake that was formed by the damming of a river, the Malheur River, by lava flow. All right. So a volcanic lake basically stops maybe a river in its tracks because of, because it's formed a landmass and it created a lake. Then you got glacier lakes. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. So you have glacier lakes basically from melted ice, because we went through the ice age, some parts and regions melted and created lakes. Then you got tectonic lakes. This is a very important lake because Lake Victoria is a tectonic lake. And why is that important? The reason why that's important is because if we go back to the layers of the earth, come on, man. Why my computer moving slow? Sorry, folks. Computer moving slow. All right. So you can see, hold on, let's go to the tectonic plate structure. Sorry, folks. Computer moving slow. I don't know what's up. All right. So sorry, hold on. All right, we can just read this right here. The tectonic plates are made up of the Earth's crust and the upper part of the mantle layer underneath. Together, the crust and the upper mantle are called the lithosphere, and they extend about 80 kilometers deep. The lithosphere is broken into giant plates that fit around the globe like puzzle pieces. All right. So the tectonic plates are connected to the mantles. All right. And if we go back to this right here, you'll see tectonic lakes. Right. And I'll just run through the other lakes. There's lakes called fluvial lakes. All right. And the flow of a river is usually not straight, but the river bends and meanders through its course due to the uneven and non-uniform topography of the land. As river flows, a number of lakes are formed. All right. So those are fluvial lakes. Then there's landslide lakes. You can read about that. There's solution lakes. There's aeolian lakes. There's shoreline lakes, anthropogenic lakes, and meteorite lakes. All right. But I stopped on tectonic plates because clearly I did the research. But Lake Victoria is a tectonic plate lake. All right. And as you can see, tectonic plates are made up of the crust. And when we did the research in the start, I was showing you the different, I don't know why my computer's acting slow today. But I was showing you the different. All right. Well, they took me to it. All right. So you got the mantles right here. All right. So you got the crust and then you got the mantle, and the plates are located within the mantles. All right. Now let's go to how did Lake Victoria originate? Tarnoon, you there? So I
Yeah, I'm here.
must have fell asleep.
No. I'm doing some research and I'm watching the chat.
Oh, okay. Yes. So far, how y'all liking it so far? Let me know how y'all liking it so far. Most times information may come out as boring at first, right? But when you're able to explain yourself and you're able to let people know right off the rip, hey, we don't come out of America. You understand what I'm saying? And you'll have to show people and let them know, hey, the facts are that Lake Victoria is a tectonic lake. And basically, tectonic lakes are creative lakes. All right. So hold on. Let me get to real quick. Hold on. Type of lake is Lake Victoria. We're gonna get to that real quick, but I wrote it down anyway. Let me make sure I get it real quick. All right. I'm gonna send it to myself. But how y'all doing tonight? I'm not trying to run this one too late tonight. I know sometimes we could run into like 3-4 hours. I want to make sure this one is nice and quick. Give me 1 second, folks. I had to send it to myself. Give me 1 second. All right. Come on, hurry up. Sorry, folks. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay, here we go. Ooh, here we go. Ooh-wee. This is where it's going to get interesting. So we're going to screen share this real quick. All right. So basically, basically what they were saying on Wikipedia was just a little bit more extra. All right. So it's basically telling you the size of Lake Victoria, second largest freshwater lake by volume. And it says it is a source of the longest branch of the Nile River, the White Nile, and has a catchment area of 184,000 square kilometers, which is 71,040 square miles. The lake lies within an elevated plateau in the western part of Africa's Great Rift Valley. Keep that in mind. Great Rift Valley. All right. Matter of fact, let's go look at what a Great Rift Valley is. All right. The Great Rift Valley is a vast geographical and geological feature that runs north to south for some 5,000 kilometers from northern Syria and southwest Asia to central Mozambique and East Africa. The valley varies with width from 30 to 100 kilometers and in depth for a few hundred to several thousand meters. It is named by the explorer John Walter Gregory. All right. So this Great Rift Valley goes almost 5,000 kilometers into the earth. You understand what I'm saying? So this lake is laying on top of it. I don't think you guys understand that. I don't think you guys understand that. Let's go back to the nature books. You remember when I told you guys, right, that you could see that the nature books?
Mm-hmm.
Remember I told you guys the womb of the planet, look, is here. Let's go to the Wikipedia that was showing us, I think the mileage. It was showing us like the mileage of how deep. I don't want to lose this page. I'm gonna pull up another page. Let's go back to the layers of the earth again, right? Where's the one that was giving us the mileage? Looky here. Looky here. We are on the bottom. Look, 5,100 what? Kilometers.
Kilometers, right.
5,000 would be a little bit further up here. In between the what? Hold on.
The outer.
Huh?
It'd be right where the inner and the outer meet.
Correct. Which is where? Where does you see me put? That's right where the womb would be. And the lake is what? Is sitting on top.
When it say spontaneous, right?
Huh? Oh, you talking about nature books?
Yeah.
Yep. It's a spontaneous membrane on the outside of the blob brain, and then on that outside of the brain is where the mantle would be. So it's basically sitting. The womb is sitting on that. So the African Great Rift is really the birth canal, which goes down into the planet. So those that advocate out of America would have to prove that there's a rift that any water system is sitting on that goes 5,000 feet into the ground. That's something they're gonna have to prove right off the bat. But of course, I'm gonna go even deeper. All right. So this is the half section of the planet, right? Then you can go and you can see now it goes 5,000 kilometers. This is 5,100 kilometers, which would mean that 5,000 will be somewhere in between here. All right. So these are the layers of the planet. All right. But we gonna read some more. All right. So the geography part of the rift forms the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, separating the Lebanon Mountains and the anti-Lebanon Mountains. The south in Israel, it is known as the Hula Valley, separating between the Galilee Mountains and the Golan Heights. Further south, the valley becomes the Jordan River, which flows southward through Lake Hula into Lake Tiberias in Israel, and then continues south through the Jordan Valley into the Dead Sea on the Israel-Jordan border. From the Dead Sea southwards, the rift is occupied by Wadi Araba and then the Gulf of Aqaba and the Red Sea. The southern end of the sea marks, the southern end of the Red Sea marks the fork in the rift. This is where you may get your whole Moses, when he put a staff in the ground, and all these things are not strange. It's just that religion has basically took science and made it into a belief and made it into these fantasy stories. All right. So, but when you read further, in Noon helps to open up these things. This is where I'm getting this information from. All right. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically that's where Lake Victoria sits. So let's look at a map where Lake Victoria sits. Come on. Don't tell me the image ain't going to pull up after I done clicked on it. Come on, man. All right. We'll just zoom in on it then. I guess since they don't want me to. All right. So as you can see, Lake Victoria sits on that rift. They even give you a little map showing you, right? We just read that Lake Victoria sits on the rift. All right. And these tectonic plates. So basically, under the lake, you'll have a lot of biological life inside of the lake. I think they're gonna talk about that as well in the hold on. Ecology. Lake Victoria plays a vital role. I'm reading from this part right here. Lake Victoria plays a vital role in supplying millions of people living around the shores in one of the most densely populated regions of the earth. The ecosystem of Lake Victoria is surrounded by, have been badly affected by human influence. In 1954, the Nile perch. So I don't want to read all of this. This is a lot to read. I just wanted to get to the part of where it's life to about, oh, it was right up here. Sorry. So it says Lake Victoria is relatively young. Its current basin formed only 400,000 years ago, which is a lie. They just don't know when it was formed. That's a complete lie, because Lake Victoria was formed an even longer time ago. But what happens to the lake is that it dries out and it refills. So the bottom of the lake, basically, you know, it goes through a lot of changes. Like like in the nature books, he says that the planet goes through a period of menopause, right? Which is like almost like a drying out of the vagina, right? So that's the same thing that's happening with the planet. The planet goes through that same process. All right. So if we read on, you'll see it says that when westward flowing rivers were damaged by the upthrown crustal block. So that means that now there's a blockage taking place between the crust and the mantle. So the crust kind of like dries up and stops it from flowing again. All right. The lake's shallowness, limited river inflow, and the large surface area relative to its volume make it vulnerable to climate changes. Cores taken from the bottom show that Lake Victoria has dried up completely 3 times since it formed. These drying cycles are probably related to what? The past ice ages. The ice ages started around 18 million years ago. They might tell you 100,000 years. But ice age, or when the planet started to cool down, which is called the Miocene age. That's what it's called, the Miocene age in regular science. In our science, we know it to be evolution. But the Miocene age is when things started to cool down, which are times when precipitation declined globally. The lake last dried out 17,300 years ago, then filled again beginning in 14,700 years ago. The fantastic adaptive radiation of its native what's that? Cichlids, looks like cichlids, has taken place in the short period of time since then. So as we can see, the lake has periods of drying out and filling up. So it has really no origin, or actually its origin was when the planet first was created. But the problem is that this particular vagina or womb of the planet, rather, it dries out and it has its periods of menopause back and forth, just like a woman does, because the planet itself is a woman. All right. And in the water, it's home to about, I think it's like millions of species of marine life, because anytime lava or mantle hits the earth, when we have to understand that the conditions for growth is warmness, wetness, and darkness. So when a planet is creating organisms, because organisms just don't come from anywhere, same as human beings, we didn't just come from anywhere. The creative source for that would have to be within the planet. We didn't come from aliens either. They didn't come here and constructed us on Mars and then brought us here and transferred us to planet Earth for things like, no, we came from right here in the fire form. You understand what I'm saying? And if you look at the geology, and the thing is, I don't want to get into all that right now because we're gonna go into a 2 or 3 hour discussion. I'm just giving you guys the birthplace of the gods, and even the ancestors called this, let me see something. I want to give you guys the name that the ancestors call it. It's called Nalubale, right? But Nalubale has a name which means birth of the gods.
Nalubale.
Yeah, Nalubale. Hold on. Let me show it. And it's another name too, Iwiki something. But Nalubale.
Nam Lo is also spelled Nam, pronounced Nam Lowe, Nam, one word, Lolwe.
What's the other one?
Nam.
N-A-B. Hold on. I forgot how to spell it already.
Yeah, I've seen it earlier. I was just I'm taking notes over here. I'm putting something together, but I did see that. Just look up Lake Victoria. It's in there.
Oh, I had dropped out for a second. I'm back. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I got something real nice. I'm just waiting for you to drive it home. So don't lose that point about the 5,000 kilometers.
I mean, it's already there, so you can't get away from that. That's going to be very hard to get away from that. It's going to be extremely hard to get away from that, but I hope you guys are paying attention.
I just want to get that down. Okay, so 5,000 kilometers translate to 3,106 miles, 856.
So what?
That's how deep Lake Victoria run, 3,106 miles.
Well, it's deeper than that because the lake itself is shallow, but under the, remember, it sits on what they would call the African Great Rift. So it runs deep.
Hold on,
But I wanted to get the name meaning of Naubale so that people could see for themselves what the name means. I had it, hold on. I got it written down. I thought I would have been able to find it faster, but all right, here we go. I'm gonna have to send it to myself again. How y'all enjoying this so far? You guys learning, you know, some new information that you may have not have known before? This is interesting stuff. This is why I take pride in the research.
Yeah, trying to make it a little easier with people.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I had to write this stuff down and send it to myself again. Spirits love to play the games. All right, so as we can see here, where is it? Okay, so right here in summary, Great Lake, it's called Ukerewe. That's what it looks like. Ukerewe is Nyanja. Ya Ukerewe is the Great Lake of the land of Chua. So Chua, I think it was the name of the people that lived there. I'll read the whole thing there. All right. So starting from the top, it's Nyanja Ya Ukerewe Yere, Great Lake of the land of Chua. Meanings and pronunciations. All right. Says Ukere, also called Naubale, and Nyanja Nalubale is the Great Lake formerly called Lake Victoria. So they already renamed it. They like, we ain't calling it Lake Victoria no more because Lake Victoria is named after the Queen. After they done came down there and renamed our lake. Well, you know, through colonialism and things of that nature. All right. So Victoria and Nyanza. All right. So meanings and pronunciations per the online Chuchewa dictionary. Nyanja means lake. Almost spelled the same is Nyanza, which is Anza, which means an enormous collection of primordial water. See that word? Primordial water. See, the ancients already knew.
Wakanda.
All right. Due to the closeness of Nyanja and Nyanza in spelling and general meaning, more than likely they are the same word with the same combined meaning. All right, so this is how you pronounce it. Ukerewe. Okay, it's Ukerewe. Oh man, I'm about to do that in the Wapian thing. Reye.
Oh no! Don't say Ray. They're gonna say yeah. Homosexual. We gotta go to Lake Victoria.
or do like Takashi Treyway. All right, so the pronunciation is Ukerewe. So that's Ukerewe. The prefix U means land of or country of. Thus, Ukerewe means the land of the Kerewe. The Kerewe people are the Kerewe people who are the, I guess this would be Kewa people. The K and CH are interchangeable. Therefore, it is likely Ukerewe was once spelled something similar to Ukerewe and Ukerewa. This means likely due to the variations of what people were called, the Kwa people or the Iwa people or the Iwe people. The Kwa people were also known as the Nyanja, people of the lake, who speak Kinyanja, the language of the lake. This is the same language of the Kchewa, which was it was the language of the Kchewa. In summary, Great Lake Ukerewe is Nyanja Ya Ukerewe, is the Great Lake of the land of Kwa. And Yanja Naubale is the Luo name for the Nyanja Ya Ukerewe. And Yanja is N Nyanja, and thus based on the root spelling and usage means the same as Nyanja Nyanza. Na Lu Ba Ele. Na Lu Ba Ele means mother of the guardian gods. All right. Now, when you go into the nature books, you see who those gods are. There's 9 of them by race, rather. So there's 9 pygmy gods by race, and Afro Uno goes into great detail of who these guardian gods are, and where they were born. Like I just showed you, where they were born. All right. So the name of the lake also by our ancestors gives away where we were born. All right. Now, let's go. Well, another special thing about Lake Victoria, that it's the second largest freshwater lake. What's the first largest freshwater lake? That would be the lake in North America. But how was that lake formed? And what kind of lake was that lake? Let's see. Because we found that Lake Victoria goes into the planet with this creative energy and this mantle crust, which creates organisms, because when that mantle comes to the surface, it creates different organisms. Right now, that particular aspect of the lake is barren, so you won't get any more gods being created. So because you'll get questions from those that are claim to be scientists, well, why are they not creating no more human beings? That's because it's barren right now. As you can see, the lake is closed up. It's not ready for the birth of human beings again. You understand what I'm saying? So based on the condition,
not human beings.
Not human beings, but these gods that created us human beings, because they came first in their fire, flesh, and blood form. And then as things got cooler, then they created us through sexual procreation and things like that. That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. We don't have enough time to do that right now, because we'll run into like 6-7 hours. But we're going to give you guys bits and pieces of the information, where we come from and how did we get here and things of that nature. So let me end this screen share. Anything you want to say real quick while I just pull up this one last thing?
Well, I got a list of all the lakes in America.
Okay, so then pull that up, and as you do that, I'll speak on it.
Hold on.
By the way, this ain't milk, y'all. Like I told y'all in the start, this is actually, it is milk. It's my own milk and Brazil nuts, and I made my own milk. Tastes just like milk too, and it's healthy. Let's do this. All right. I ain't checked the comments in a while. How y'all feeling out there?
Hold on, I'm trying to get to the screen because I was trying to find. I didn't know how to word it though. To hold on.
Oh man, to the core foundation said, damn, I ain't learned this in school. What, you think they'll teach y'all this in school? Hell no. Oh, I still got my screen sharing.
Oh, okay. That's, I don't know. Not really. I can see you. I'm trying to get this to go so I can show it. Hold on. Okay, go back. Hold on, go back. Yeah, screen sharing. I'm trying to screen share.
I gotta take a quick little break. This, bust my head open too. But when we put it together in a nice video form, this is just the live hangout, just to kill the whole out of America theory real quick, so that they could see exactly where we come from. And as time goes on, we're gonna show where the other races of people come from.
Can you see the screen, or is it showing you still?
It's showing me still. Oh, wait, no, it's showing you. But let me mute my screen so it won't show me. All right.
All right. It's saying screen share. Hold on. Cause they're supposed to show what I got pulled up, but it's not doing that. Just showing desktop. Hold on. Just give me a all right, I'm back. Let me try this again. Yeah. It's just showing. It's crazy. I'm gonna have to send it to you. Hold on. This thing here just wanna act up.
It's showing your screen.
Oh,
You
it
heard?
is? Okay. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me know when you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, hold on. It should be showing in the. You see it where it says late?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go. And these are all of the lakes in America. From the deepest, and it goes to not so deep, but it goes up and up. So if you wanted to make that point with the deepness of the lakes and where they sit at in comparison to Lake Victoria and the Great Rift, that's why I pulled it up.
That's good. Yeah, so they get to see that these particular lakes that reside in America cannot be the birth of the black race, rather, because number one, we weren't born from the planet. We were born from our ancestors who were born from the planet. You understand that? So I don't want people to get that mistaken. So we originated from Africa because our ancestors were born out of Africa. So I don't want people to get that too confused. All right. So we were born from our ancestors who migrated to different parts of the globe. Our ancestors came in the fire form or the ether form, or what they were, you know what I'm saying? Like they came in like a form that was so dense because it was so hot millions of years ago that their skin and their hair and everything had to be conducive to the climate that they were in. We as black people won't be able to survive even in those temperatures with these bodies that we have right now, because back then temperatures was reaching over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine trying to survive in that with this skin and this, you know, what we have right now. And that'll be another discussion for another day when we map out the degrees of how hot it was, you know, millions of years ago. All right. So it was much hotter than what it is now. This is a joke compared to how hot it was. So our ancestors had to be equipped to be in that type of heat and to be comfortable in that type of weather. But yeah, so Lake, I think Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world. All right.
It is.
And that
it's
lake,
the third one right here.
Correct. And that particular lake is what you call it? Is the largest freshwater lake. And you know why that's important? Because freshwater lakes are what births the most species, right? And that particular lake does not have a rift under it, meaning that it's not creating any type of lava flow under it to create life. Even though life may be inside of it, that life came by way of drainage of the ice caps melting and coming and forming those different lakes. So also the Mississippi River can't be the birthplace as well, because the Mississippi River does not leak into the ground all the way into these structures. So those that advocate out of America would have to, and I have more information on that, but those that advocate that we come from out of America and we were originated here would have to prove scientifically that we come from North America. And where is the birthplace? You would have to show us the birthplace, because anything that is born has to have a birthplace. So show us the birthplace in America where the African race originated from. And we're going to leave that. Well, I'm going to leave off by saying saying that. That'll be my next question. There's going to be a part 2 to this, of course, but I want those that advocated, or if you want to debate any, me on this topic, show us where the birthplace is in America, and we can have a longer discussion about this out of America theory. And that's all I'm going to be speaking about tonight. I don't know if you want to say anything else, Tarnoon, or you want to close it out with anything.
No, I mean, I think it was good, because they're not going to be able to do it, because that's like that. And that's why I made the statement earlier. You only could go so far until the paper runs out, because you have to learn to use other things that's around. And if you have, again, everything that needs to be known is just because it's put in, because we, number one, lost reasonability throughout time, especially the last 6,000 years, and we just, through evolution and religion, came upon it. Just took everything and twisted it, and then we got invaded over time, and a lot of information again we lost and forgot, and others possessed it and changed things around a little bit, and so we forgot how to what we're getting back now is reasonability. And what reasonability does, it gives us the let me stop my screen sharing home. Did I stop? Is it back on you?
Oh. Well, it's on you because you're speaking, but it stopped screen sharing.
Okay. It stopped screen sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what was my train of thought? Yeah, reasonability, which gives us the mental wherewithal to know where to actually look and put it together. So what people are going to learn as they get a hold of the nature books from the websites, you know, study the videos, excuse me, get the turpentine and sulfur, then you will be able to know where to look, and you'll be able to put the pieces together like Afro Unu and Gipo and Sipu did. And that's what people need to understand. Everything you need is right here on planet Earth. And like A-Noot said, as below is as above. So as in the past is also in the present. So you have to just know where to look after you've been given, after the one that was mentally resurrected, that comes every 72 million years, that person has came and gone and left the findings that we needed to get kick-started. All we doing now is just validating the nature book. That's it. It's nothing new. It's no, oh, this has come down to you, oh, you dirty, filthy mortals who's waiting on scraps to be thrown from nowhere. This is, everything is right here. And all we're doing is finding the information that Afro Unu found and lining it up in the present with the modern day scientists, not basing what we're doing on them. That's not how it goes. That's for you one-sided mental racists who claim that, you know, everything the Caucasian says is a lie, or it's such thing as white science. There's no such thing. That it's just, science just basically means knowledge. So it's just what they did to the transference or communication of what supposed to be. They can lie about that, but they can't change reality. The spirit beings was able to do that for a while, but that has been over since February 5th, 1962. So what we're doing now, like I said, is we're validating what Afro Unu and them wrote in the books. That's why the process is the way that it is. We're not running and trying to just throw everything out there, because it takes time to research this stuff and then come together and put it out so people can know that everything y'all looking for is right here in the nature books. And then you could take the nature books and correct your religious books, and then update and upgrade your religious books, because all of them is, like I said, for example, they all talk about clay and man coming from clay. It's just the differentiations in how the nature books classify human beings. But overall, it does tell you clay. But I think, A-Noot, you need to, I think you should go into that before you dip, about clay and life and heat, because you spoke about that the other day, and lava. I thought you was going to put that in there. I think you should throw that in there before you.
I ain't got nothing pulled up right now because usually what I'll do is I'll pull it to the side. I ain't got it really pulled up right now, but let me see something.
Because that right there, they need to understand that, because that's what the Bible doesn't add that part in. The Quran gives you a little bit, because it talks about black clay. In order for it to be black, it had to be some type of heat involved. So the Quran gives you a little something more versus the way that the Bible wrote it, or the Bible writers wrote it. Because, you know, they condensed and took out a lot of stuff, because in order for the belief to work, you have to have absence of certain information. If you put in too much explanation, then the magic of belief can't work. You know, like comic books, which we know that's just another form of religion. And especially with movies, how right now these people going crazy over what the hell happened after Thanos killed half of everything on Earth and disappeared. They got so many people coming up with what really happened, and this took place, this could have happened. I'm like, don't they know this a movie? I mean, they got people coming up with theories upon theories upon theories, and none of that stuff is real. But religion operates the same way. They'll come up with 1,000 things. But go ahead if you got a little something to toss in there.
Well, all right. So we go deal with the clay. What is the clay? Well, the clay is the mantle. All right. In geology, because number one, geology is the science of the earth. And we know that Noon is what? Is the science of all sciences. We dealt with epigenetics. We dealt with, it was a range of topics we already dealt with when it comes to Noon. So this is just one of those other sciences that is dealing with, which is geology, which is the study of the earth. All right. So the mantle is the clay that the Bible is talking about. Because what is clay? Clay is watery rocks, right? But no, I apologize. It's not watery rocks. It's liquid rocks. That's what clay is. Because you can have fire clay and you can have water clay, or you can have liquid clay. Anything solid at room temperature can be turned to clay. All right. So the mantle can be turned from clay back into rocks. So a rock turned to its liquid form is clay. All right. So let's get into that. The mantle is a layer inside a terrestrial planet and some other rocky planets' bodies, planetary bodies. So you got other planets that's rocky as well that has clay. You got Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Those are rocky planets. And some of the gaseous planets, they may not tell you this, but some of them do have solid cores as well, even though they're gas planets. They have clay and things of that nature in their core. All right. So the mantle is a layer inside the terrestrial planet and some rocky planetary bodies. For a mantle to form, the planetary body must be large enough to have undergone the process of planetary differentiation by density. You remember when I was telling you guys that the density or the heat is what allowed our ancestors to live within that type of environment, and for them to be born from the planet as far as those clay is concerned. It's just that religion twisted it, and they don't give you the origin of these things, but Noon does. So it's incumbent that you go read the books and get an understanding, and then come back to these videos where we give a little bit more understanding so you can see the bridge between their science and our science. But our science is higher because you're getting the true origin of where things come from, not the dismantled origin of religion and the dismantled origin of this particular science, because their science is based on theories. Our science, Noon, is based on facts, experience, evidence, and reason. Their science is based upon theories, might be some evidence, might be some experience, and half reason. You understand what I'm saying? So our science is based upon full experience, evidence, and reason, and facts. All right. So let's move forward. The mantle is bounded on the bottom of the planetary core, on the top and on top of the crust. The terrestrial planets, like I was just telling you, Earth, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, the moon, and two of Jupiter's moons, Io and Europa, and the asteroid Vesta, each has a mantle made of silicate rock. Interpretation of spacecraft data suggests that at least two other moons of Jupiter, Ganymede and Callisto, as well as Titan and Triton, each have mantle made of ice or other solid volatile substances. So that's what I was trying to tell you guys, that some of these, and if a moon is from a planet, it was either born from the planet or formed around the planet, which means that it's of the planet. no matter what. It is of the planet. All these moons are the children of these planets. So if these moons have mantle in them, then the planets have mantle in them. So don't let them fool you with, oh, just some moons have it and that's it. No, the planet also has it as well. They just not ready to admit it yet, or they just ain't discover it yet. All right. So the Earth's mantle, the interior of the Earth, similar to the other terrestrial planet, is divided into layers of different composition. The mantle is the layer between the crust and the outer core. Earth's mantle is a silicate rocky shell with an average thickness of 2,886 kilometers, which is 1,793 miles. The mantle makes up about 84% of the Earth's volume. It is predominantly solid, but in the geological time, it behaves as a viscous liquid. All right. The mantle, let's look at what they call viscous liquid. All right. So look at what they call viscous liquid. You see on the side here, the simulation of liquids. This is like a clay structure, and this is, you understand? So the density is what makes it the way it is. All right. And the thickness. Let's go back. The mantle encloses the hot core rich iron and nickel. That's another thing too. This iron core is what makes the planet stay in orbit with the sun, because when the sun gives off its magnetic energy, it's giving off iron, and it's what keeps the planets in place. Each one of the planets have an iron core, which keeps them in their orbit. When scientists are ready to admit this, you will see it. It will come out. But right now, they're not ready to admit it. But Noon has given us the information and the knowledge for us to know this. All right. So Afro-Unu did great research, and all these things that we are talking about now will be spoken about in the future. All right. So let me see okay, the mantle encloses the hot core rich in iron and nickel, which makes up about 15% of the Earth's volume. Past episodes of melting and volcanism at the shallower levels of the mantle have produced a thin crust of crystallized melt products near the surface. Information about the structure and composition of the mantle has been obtained from geophysical investigation and from direct geoscientific analysis of Earth's mantle-derived xenoliths and the mantle that has been exposed to the mid-oceanic ridge spreading. Two main zones are distinguished by the upper mantle, the inner asthenosphere, composed of plastic flowing rock. See that? A asthenosphere composed of plastic flowing rock of varying thickness. There go your clay again. On average, about 200 kilometers, 120 miles thick. And the lowermost part of the lithosphere, composed of rigid rock. There go your clay again. And these clay rocks compose of different elements. So like, for instance, when an island like Hawaii is formed, those are rocks. And you see different trees form from it. You might see a coconut tree. You might see animals coming up. You might see different type of vegetation like herbs and vegetables and things. Where you think those things are coming from? Those rocks are producing those different life, these different species and lives. Those coconut trees not coming from outer space. They're being born right here. And the rocks are producing them. Each rock has a different element to it, which creates life. Trees, animals, organisms, under the water, things like that. So we have to understand that these rocks, once we get into the structure of these rocks, then you'll understand why they create these certain type of trees. Why do they create these certain type of animals? Why do they create, X, Y, and Z? So animals and things of that nature are not being created just like flesh and blood human beings are not being created, but you will see islands come up where trees and things like that are still being created. As time goes on, animals and trees and animals and flesh and blood beings will arrive again. But right now they're not being created as yet because the conditions for it is not conducive for that. But the evidence is when you see trees and small microorganisms being created from the land. Like Afro-Unu gives an example of the under the board theory, where you may put a wet board outside under the under a flat surface, and when you come back in a couple of weeks and you turn the board over, you'll see organisms living under there. These are the results of brain newts, and these brain newts are in these rocks. They're also under the board, and the conditions for creation is warmness, wetness, and darkness. Everybody was born in wetness, warmness, and darkness. The same, like when your father ejaculated within your mother, it was a warm, wet, and dark place. So it doesn't necessarily have to be nasty. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the Bible uses that story of the earth being dark, wet, or water. Wasn't God under the water? Wasn't it dark? And the warmness. They're not going to talk about the warmness, but the earth was warm, wet, and dark. All right. So these things are not far-fetched from religion. It's just that religion has distorted the facts rather. All right, so thin crust, the upper part of the lithosphere surrounds the mantle and is about 5 to 75 kilometers, which is 3.1 to 46.6 miles thick. Recent analysis of hydrous ring woodite from the mantle suggests that there is between 1 and 3 times as much water in the transition zone between the lower and upper mantle than in the world's oceans combined. You see that? Water is what? It's a placement for life. Now, even between these two hot structures, you have water. You have water within these two mantles. And water creates what? Life. So we can see now that there's the wetness zone within these two transition zones. See, it's called the transition zone. You can read up on it. In some places under the ocean, the mantle is actually exposed to the surface of the earth. See that? There's also a few places on land where the mantle rock has been pushed to the surface by the tectonic activity, and most notably table regions of the Gross Monroe Park in Canadian province and Newfoundland and Labrador and Zabargad Island, the St. John Island in the Red Sea. Also the Marquette Island, St. Peter's, and St. Paul archipelago, the Troodos ophiolite, the lizard complex, the Semel ophiolite, and other ophiolites. All right. Structure. The mantle is divided into sections and are based upon the results of seismology. These layers and their thickness depths are the following, and they give you all those thickness depths. All right, the characteristics. Let me see. Basically, you guys could read, more about this, and I'm gonna give more research on this later on, and more of the creative composition of these plants and animals and things of that nature. But the mantle is the rock. It's the melted rock or the clay that they speak about. The only type of clay we know is the watery clay, but there's fire clay as well, which is known as mantle. So we come from fire clay, or our ancestors rather come from fire clay. So it'll be you know, it should do some justice if you guys want to go out there and do some research on it. So is there anything else you want to speak on about this?
No, that was good. They just gotta grab the books and compare, because like you said, he did a great job with the drawings. He just didn't put on top of the you know, the picture of the earth and stuff cut in half. He didn't place the, you know, the actual continents how it is today, because then he'd be giving away too much. But the way he worded it and he drew it and gave you a good idea, sound right reason does the rest. That's what we're trying to get people to just understand, and those who are familiar with the term and those who are reading to get reconnected with that. They understand that sound right reason are mental energies, male and female mental energies, and they are already there in your mind, and you just have to connect. And you know, the religion, especially the Bible, people don't get it. You know, when we talk about Zupu God and Noopooh God, the Bible is split. It's either most of them focus on the spirit of God and the word of God, which is logos, but a lot of them don't get the mind of God, and that's where we're at this point in time. So I think that was great, in that they need to understand that, like you said, even in the Kemet story, it tells you, you know, it was, you know, fiery mountain came out of the water, and they start talking about Atum and all of them roles, and some of them. It's just, you know, we're gonna untangle a lot of that stuff anyway, as time permits. But yeah, they that is the challenge to you know, the Callaway camp, that they have to prove where at in America did our ancestors come up out of the ground, and they're not gonna be the to prove that. They're gonna have to, like you said, that's what I was saying, with the water, the heat, the lava, the mantles. They have to, the same way you showed with Afro with the drawing from Lake Victoria to the Great Rift, all the way down to the womb and the brain of the planet Earth. They have to do the same thing, and they won't be able to do it. Which I told you that from the beginning. They're not going to do it. They can't go back but so far till they start going into myths. They're going to have to start pulling out stories from either the, you know, the so-called Native American or mankind with the straight hair. They're not going to be able to show you nothing scientifically as far as origin. They're not going to be able to do it. I listened to them.
The biggest claim to fame is that the pyramids was older hair. That means nothing.
Right.
that means nothing. What?
Yeah.
Just because the pyramids are older mean what?
Yeah, it doesn't have nothing to do with the birth of the people that made them. So
that's right.
Still, that has nothing to do with nothing. I used to laugh. Me and Chief used to talk about that all the time, and again, they're using, what they're doing is they're using artifacts as proof. Only thing it's showing you is that, like the nature book said, we came out of Africa, that's for sure, but we've been on the whole planet. So, but again, they don't have they don't have the archaeological access, and they don't have a reasonable ability to put it together. Like I said in my other video, all of these people are too busy. They doing the same thing that the people they following did, which I say it started with Garvey, which W. Ali, excuse me, started that, stealing his followers when he got locked. And then Farad and Elijah stole Drew Ali followers, and it kept going, you know. And Malcolm left, and Clarence 13X left, and Elijah's son, Warth Dean, took the nation. Farrakhan came in, took the nation. And it just kept breaking down, and that's what a lot of these people now who are hollering all these different people names, they all come from people who set that into the paradigm. So that's what they're doing now. The indigenous, the out of America versus the African is trying to steal their followers. That's all it is. Because even if you prove you was from here, and I'm just, even though I know they can't, then what? It doesn't work. The only thing we haven't done is went back to Africa. We stayed here longer than we should have, and we still looking stupid. You think these people finna give it up the same way? I discussed this with the Moors a lot of times. They keep talking about how America is ours and they're gonna rule the government. Talk about Drew Ali gonna keep the Caucasian in power long enough for them to learn how to run a government. This is foolishness. There's none of that stuff is gonna take place. So they stuck trying to stay here as well off of belief that you're not gonna take over America. You're not gonna do it. So we stuck into this. We want to be from everywhere else except over there. But the science doesn't prove that. Like you said, the next time we're gonna go in, definitely going on the temperature and heat and life, like you said, with the islands of Hawaii and the rocks. And because I was doing a little research too, and they saying the main 3 elements that's on the core of the planet is silicon, oxygen, and sulfur. And it was so funny because you kept talking about the word file and pedophile and phylos, and they got a lot of rocks with that file on the end of it. Like siderophile, chalcophile elements, manganese, solar abundance, but they just saying how these liquid silicon, oxygen, and sulfur, and you got, like I said, that's underneath the nickel, which is surrounding the iron. That's the iron down there. They're saying it's pure, but then like I said, I seen this sulfur down there, which we know what that does. And when we take sulfur, so the earth produces sulfur from its core, and so does the sun. And so that's why one of the things that Afro-Unu told us to take was sulfur. And so that puts you in tune with life, because life is a burning, and sulfur is a result of burning, as well as it comes out of the volcano. And that's why he said that in the Bible interpretation, that life is a burning, and sulfur helps with that. So eventually, like I said, we'll keep putting it out. Noopooh gonna keep raising the mentalities, and eventually that group think tank will be ready in less than a year. So I think that's all I wanted to say on that. It was a great show. It was scientific as usual. I'll be putting this up on the channel sometime. Anything you wanted to say? This is your show.
Nah, that's it, man. I thank everybody for tuning in and for being enlightened about about the subject matter at hand. I want to also, if you guys share this video with your friends, and for yourselves as well, just take a read in the nature books, take a look at the nature books, read it, understand it. And hopefully one day you guys could be one of the elites in the nature science. These are some of the things that a lot of people don't learn, like to the core foundation was saying, she didn't learn this in school. They're not going to teach us this in school, because if they teach us this in this type of way, then it'll open up the minds of Black people, and it'll also destroy a lot of their science and what they're trying to promote to us. And Afro-Unu didn't put this out to get a Nobel Peace Prize, because you know how many Nobel Peace Prizes he would have got for all this information that's coming out? Man, listen, they'll be giving him the Nobel Peace Prize every year for everything he put out. But that wasn't his goal. You understand what I'm saying? His goal was to make sure that the Black race got this. And then on top of that, if they found out who he was and the type of information he was putting forth, they would have killed him. You understand what I'm saying? They took him out.
No doubt.
Because somebody with that type of intelligence, they're gonna use him. They'll use him up. Oh, what about this? Tell us what planet is 50 light years away. If you that smart, and you know they're gonna start to negrotize it.
Monetize it after they use you up
for his intelligence.
Yep. That's why he said that they didn't teach us that we came from the sun, because that would have destroyed a lot of everything else. We would have really been ready if we knew we came from the sun. Like it said, the Bible and those books, they took out a lot of information, so you would have to be wondering more than anything, and wandering with a WONDERING is no different sounding as wandering than to be lost. So that's why they done that. So you keep wondering, and why you ignorant with nothing to base it on, they gave us all types of stuff, or a lack thereof, and we just, our imagination did the rest. So I think that was a good thing that you touched on. Like I said, they got to watch this a couple of times and to be able to catch it. Because the whole thing is, we're not trying to get y'all to just run into Caucasian science. That's not what we're saying. And I mean that their interpretation of reality, or what they're seeing, because what they're seeing is based upon their mind, and they're designing the way that their mind understands it, which the 9 balls say is 333. That's as much as they could gather. But Boonoo went in and did everything he needed to do and documented it and put it in the books. And again, as we get further and further, the Wapians going to realize they made a mistake, because they done told the world they came from monkeys and gay aliens. And so they came from somewhere else. Ain't nothing in their books talking about this 9 ether and 6 ether clay in the planet, which the Caucasian knows it is the outer mantle and the inner mantle. So yeah, don't forget to go to the website and get you a Nodiac, get you some socks. Go to News and get some flags, get you some buttons. I got a book over there I wrote about 2 months ago. You know, y'all go over there and cop some of them things.
That's all we got, right? All we got is socks and what else they claim we got. That's all we got.
We got pendants, and we got colorful pendants, but these symbols, they represent so much more, so much greatness from our people that's to come. And like I said, we just here to help y'all as best we can. Like that right there, Queeple did a thing with that. That's that's one of the 9 balls right there.
That's right.
That's what you're looking at.
I was blessed.
At the Noot 9 ball.
I was blessed to be I guess one of the first to wear it. So I appreciate, Queeple for putting it together. I end up putting the screw part on top as well. So shout out to Queeple and her artistic skills for making this happen. But this is the next wave right here for us Noonie Boos. So, don't be trying to go copy our style, yo. But anyways, it was a great show tonight. I hope you guys tune in for the next show. And, I hope you guys learned something tonight. We're signing out. Oh, wait. You got to close out. True mental cosmic peace to what? In war times?
In war times. That's it. True mental cosmic peace in war times. We out.
Peace. True peace.